there's one good idea on firing up your sound system, especially when you are showing it off to friends and people, is to use the trim on your throttle to activate the sound system. This way you would maintain an RPM on your prop and the sound system will fire up, and yet there's not too much power on your throttle, so the plane starts to move. That's where you got problems. So if you were to use the throttle stick to fire it up, and then you get the RPM spinning, you're guessing it's spinning just about right, and then suddenly you put too much power and it's creeping, and then you've got to back the throttle back down to 0 by giving it no signal and then adding throttle again. You mess up the startup sequence on the sound system, and then what you do is the engine will start to splutter and start to start, and by you going no signal and then signal again on the throttle, it's going to restart the actual sound system. So it's going to restart and cough and splutter, and before it even fires up, it's going to cough and splutter and start again. So a bit of like a broken record, which is not cool. So what I have to do is, on this one, I know for a fact that 400 on the trim is a nice, here we go, 280, 320, 400, there we go. You can't really see it on here, but there you go, 400. So I'm up trim 400, if you notice the plane. It might not be 400 on your plane, it could be different, but you find a value where at 400 my RC sound system will fire up perfectly. There's enough throttle signal, and look, my plane ain't moving. I could even push it up a little bit higher, 440, 480, 520. So I know for a fact 400 onwards my plane ain't moving, but yet the prop is still spinning. So you get a nice real engine startup with the prop moving and the sound card firing. And to turn it off, as you can see, my throttle is already at 0. So there we go, the plane's moving and the plane is idling for 0 throttle, and the sound system doesn't turn off or shut down until I down trim this to, there you go, 0 trim, and that's how I turn the sound system, and by then the sound system would have started the shutdown sequence for the sound, for the noise of the engine. Hope that helped, and have fun. So my throttle stick is at 0, we're a mode 1 flyer, and we're going to trim it up to 400. Here we go, 40, 80, 120, 200, 400. And I'm going to start the shutdown sequence. There you go. I'll do it again. Start it up. Up trim to 400. By keeping it at 400 as the minimum throttle, by up trimming it and the engine starts, that means you can taxi your plane all around, and the RPM will change as you increase on your throttle to get the plane moving on the ground. And by you bringing the throttle back down to 0 position, your actual prop will be still spinning, and also the sound system will be at idle, not engine shutdown. Because as soon as you put it down to real 0 throttle, meaning no signal, your engine will just shut down. So which is not cool when you're taxing, you know, halfway and the engine shuts down.